All right, we are now live. Yeah, it's been a while since my last video. Again, I just wanted to go over a few things. Everything I say, not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. You know the deal. Okay, so we are in this kind of summertime slowdown where it seems like we're at all-time highs, and we sort of are, but it's just these few big tech stocks that really just bid up the SPY and everything else. So in reality, it might seem like yeah, no, everything is all-time highs, but there really are some good, I think, valuable plays that you can make in some stocks. But you do want to be very selective with what you choose to buy if you're choosing to buy, because now is not the time where you want to be aggressive and buy. So just really be selective of what you're choosing, because you never know. And so I was speaking to a few friends earlier, maybe a week or two ago, and I was discussing, the possibility of I want to do an oil play, maybe open up some long positions on oil around these levels here earlier. And because, I noticed there was like some a level of support here, and so then the play I wanted to do, I didn't end up doing it because I missed my entry point by literally a few pennies, if you can imagine it. So what I wanted to do was, so I noticed oil came down this much since this time earlier in the year, and I wanted to make a play on oil. So then there's this ticker called GUSH. And I'm looking at GUSH, and I'm looking at, it was around $30 at the time. 30, yeah, I think it literally touched 29 something. I'm not sure. But anyways, I had a intraday, sorry, and I had a had an order, but it wasn't filled. Regardless, the people I did talk to about it, if you ended up taking those positions, congratulations, a little 10% gainer, nothing crazy if you manage to sell. Right now, I wouldn't, kind of hesitant to get in on it at these levels. I'm kind of looking for GUSH. And GUSH, by the way, is a 2x long oil and gas ETF. So if you are long on oil, you would go GUSH. If you're feeling like, a little bearish on oil, there's something called DRIP. I don't know, I think I've mentioned it in my previous video. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch that one, and then come back and let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. But if you're short on oil, you'd go drip. But regardless, I missed the entry. But yeah, for those that took it, that I was talking to in person, yeah, hope that it's doing well for you, and you're happy with that position. Yeah, I'm kind of looking for a little retracement. Not gonna lie, not just me being greedy and hoping to get back in on it, but usually has this move where it goes up and then it kind of retest these levels here, maybe 31, 32, and before kind of you see oil making a bigger move, and to, I want to say, around this level here, um, so that if you were long from the bottom, get a good swing there. Okay, moving on from oil. Yeah, we got a bunch of stocks here to talk about, but once again, not being super aggressive with everything. Know your limits, play within it, and yeah, have a plan going in. So like, what levels you're trying to buy for every stock, because yeah, right now is not the time you want to be super aggressive, just because of the way the market feels at the moment. GameStop, next, I guess, stock, just no particular order, just happens to be the next one after. I'm very bullish on this, obviously long term, and with the whole eBay acquisition, I do think it's happening. I love the CEO. No, trying not to be biased, but short term, I do think we are going to get a little bit of retracement, just because the volume on the stock has been abysmal, to say the least. It hasn't been getting any volume, and you really need volume on the stock to see good swings on it. So it's been very computerish, very monotone stock. Hasn't been moving for really a while, just kind of in this $22 price range. Good time to, I guess, if you were to be long-term holder, look for it to go to 21 and then start positioning yourself however you prefer. But today I just want to bring it up a little bit because I think it's good to keep in mind, and it's kind of just been sitting around this with no volume is very interesting. And if it does retrace again to these levels, the low 21s, that's when you want to pay attention to it. And honestly, I think the bottom would be around 2080, 2070, 2060. Those levels, you definitely want to be aggressive at those levels. But for right now, you can. It doesn't hurt to hold on and just kind of hold the stock if you already have it. Moving on, Celsius. Today I made a small entry. I wouldn't say, well, small is relative, right, to everyone. Made an entry today around what was it? 20. What was my entry? Oh yeah, 29.50. I had an entry for order for 30.50, but that was yesterday, and then I saw today it wasn't. I felt like it wasn't gonna do hot today. I saw it go up here and come back here, so I'm like, I'm gonna put an entry for a little lower, 29.50. So, anyways, if you can get this stock in the low 30s, in the high 20s, this one will be one to watch. I think I've mentioned in my previous video as well as my first video. This is only my third video, so I don't have a lot out there, but so you can easily catch up. Yeah, this stock is gonna be a monster to watch long term. You may already be familiar with this brand. If you're a long term holder, this will definitely pay off, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course, but all the headlines. Don't worry about what they say, this and that. Just look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers tell you a lot, tell you everything. The headlines are there to scare you, maybe to lower the price so that whales can buy in at these levels, because that's what they want to be loading up. If you're into technicals, there has been, you could say, a garlic has been completed on this level. Yeah, you want to look at this. You want to pay attention to this. And moving on. BBAI, I think I talked about this in my first video. Not much to say about this one. Like I said in my first video, it is an AI stock, and it's got all these connotations with it. So, but it looks to be pretty good levels. I guess it just refreshed since I last had it. But again, these are long term. These may have government contracts, and this is kind of a little bit of you could say like a skeptic play for some that want to get into those government contracts. With if you know what happened to Palantir, remember that stock I was looking at it when it was just $2, never made it, never bought it, and then it shot up to, oh, here. Now it's, I guess, 130, but it went up to 200 at some point. So I'm not saying this is Palantir level and this and that, but there have been some high interest individuals buying up on BBAI. So just want to bring it to your attention. Going between 3 to 5 and whatever these levels here, these lows, isn't much craziness. I mean, depends how much you put in, right? But if you are a long-term trader, and that's what I suggest you become, because day trading is what it is on its own. But if you're looking to make long-term, like, good wealth, that's my suggestion. You have a long-term portfolio, and don't sweat the small stuff. The small movements. Obviously, continue to watch it, but don't sweat it too much. Buy its support, and you will be happy if you have conviction in the stock and do your own research. Anyways, moving on. ELF. Oh, this is long. This is not the right price. I guess I have to refresh these. Yeah, so I bought in at $50. Now it's 75. It hit 80, so that made a 60% gain from when I bought in at 50. Yeah, 60% in less than a month, so that was insane. For those that took it, again, congratulations. Not much to say. Again, long-term stock holding, this could climb much higher if we just zoom out for a little. could see the previous levels of it. Now, past performance does not indicate future performance by any means, but I do feel that this is somewhat of a cyclical makeup stock, but they do have a lot of brands that they own. I guess worldwide renowned, and then they're just gonna do put up monstrous numbers, and I just feel like it is undervalued. Okay, moving on now. So sorry, this is now L. It's a 2x now daily ETF, tracks the daily price movements. Like I mentioned in my previous two videos, if you have these 2x, same with the GUSH with the oil. Sorry, my cat just wants me to open the door, so I'll do that for her. Give me one moment here. I know, not very professional of me, but you know, the cat runs everything here, so it is what it is. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so with these 2x, with the GUSH, these 2x ETFs, there is something called path decay, and I brought it up on my two videos, and if you haven't watched those, go ahead. But yeah, path decay means it's basically something you don't want to hold very long term, because since it tracks the daily movement, so if it goes up 1% on the regular stock, this will go up 2%. Or if the regular stock goes up 5%, then this will go up 10%. However, if it goes down 5%, then it will go down 10%. So overall, with the daily movements of this, and with the small fee that it incurs just holding it, doesn't make it worth it if you hold for the very long term. Okay, I'm talking like up like maybe a year or even like 8 months plus. You know, like at that point, if you have no conviction and it's just being steady, then I wouldn't hold it for that. But this is more if you have conviction in it short term and you don't want to trade options. You don't want to deal with the expiry dates. So you buy these 2x ETFs. So here, let me show you. The original is now ServiceNow. May have heard of it. Personally, I know a lot of companies that use this. Yeah, so I was, again, I think in one of my videos when I mentioned it, I was looking at a 90, and then it shot up to 130, and then now it's back down to 90, and then back up to 110. So it's kind of playing at these levels right now. These are still good levels, you know, because this stock is a good stock to hold long term and whatnot. So these are, if you're thinking long term, again, good stock, even at these levels, you know. But I personally would wait till it goes back in the 90s, and at that point, I just feel like it would be way more value to me. Do what you will with that information, but great stock, and you could make the argument that it is still trading at a discount. So do what you will with that information. Moving on, SMR. So this has tanked since the last time. So I know it says 14, but if we refresh, it's going to be what, 8? Yeah. So the thing is, with the nuclear stocks have just been getting beaten down. But I wanted to bring it up again because, I mean, for thinking nuclear long term, this does have great potential. Maybe if you, and this I believe is one of the only nuclear SMR stocks. I know the ticker is SMR, but like SMR nuclear, basically reactors that have regulatory approval. So that's kind of why I do have a position in this. But if you wanted a different nuclear play, I'm sure if you've heard, I don't know if I have it on here now. It's called OKLO. This one has had a government kind of, I want to say, government has been interested in this before in a way because of how close the president is with someone who runs this company, and there could be some contracts in the future with this company. I did at one point buy this stock. I bought options in the stock when it was 26, and then I sold them when it was around double. So I didn't hold for too long because they were expiring in June. If I had longer term expiry, oh man, the amount of gains that could have been made, right? And but we try not to beat ourselves up over that. Anyways, yeah, made a decent little profit there. But now, I'm looking to get back into it at these levels where we see it's kind of made a double bottom here. And there's just kind of been a support at this level. This line here, you could see, has just been having support, or you could argue if it goes below it, then it's a point of resistance. But um, for any all stocks, you do want to buy at support and sell at resistance, and it seems silly, but that's really just the law, just the way of the game, supply and demand. That's really all it comes down to at the end of the day, if you really break it down. So, anyways, OKLO, look into that. Moving on, SOFI. I think last time I was talking about it, it was at roughly the same levels. Okay, so like hasn't made much since then. But the CEO has been making purchases of this stock. He really believes in it, and I do too. I did own this stock at some point. How long ago? I had it from $14, sold it at 23. I sold it 23. No, 20 something. Yeah, like 24, I think, somewhere around here. Sold it from here to here. Decent gain. Looking to get back into it. Want to get into it in the teens, mid-teens. So I guess I'll be a little greedy. Wait a little bit till it goes down. Look into this. It's they have a easy entry point, I guess, for customers to get in, and then they kind of keep you trapped, keep you in their line of business because they keep offering you good deals and you keep taking them. And it's popular with the young crowd nowadays. If you don't know what this is, it's kind of like a banking, online banking, good with student loans, this and that. Do your own research, by the way, for all of this. LAES, drone company. So I wanted to buy into this one. Ended up making a purchase of this one, which you may have heard. ONDS, drone stock, and some kind of skepticism, whatnot. Yeah, bought around $7 or so, 7.20 maybe, some 7.28, I believe. Yeah, I'm not worried about this. It's gonna be a long term, and it's kind of at these levels, small entry again. Um, nothing crazy. Um, yeah, moving on. Okay, what do we got here? USAR. Now that we're moving on, I guess, to the rare earth metals. Government has had U.S. government kind of had this deal with this company, basically saying, we'll give you X amount of money, which is a lot of money, if you kind of if you show us some results of certain what's it called? Basically certain milestones that if you get to, then you'll unlock this money essentially. So it's been up, and then now it's back down at these levels, so that's why I'm kind of showing you, if you're interested, to take a look into it. I would want to get into this again, being a little greedy, waiting for the lower teens, maybe $15 range, $14 range. Because what I said earlier in the video, it isn't the time to be super aggressive. It might seem like a great discount, but we do want to wait till it hits these support levels. That's when you get the best bang for your buck, and then you're not too worried because there's a lot of support there. Usually has a few bounces, and no gap fills or whatnot. So that's kind of what we want to do, especially with the way the market's behaving. Because we are, again, I said, looks like we're at all-time highs, roughly, but in reality, like I mentioned, it's really just the big dog stocks that are keeping it up, a few tech stocks and whatnot. So if you kind of zoom out and look at those, take those out of the equation, then we're actually not doing too hot. Yeah, and also going back to this first stock, I'm kind of rambling, but going back to this first stock, this is why I wanted to get into this as well, because with oil, it's almost like a hedge against your current bets that you're making, or your bets, I mean your stocks, whatever you have going on, because generally if the market does poorly, you tend to see oil kind of move up, um, and vice versa. And same with the volatility of overall sectors. That's just a little bit of kind of trends you may notice. Okay, so then lithium stock. This has gone down since then, so that's why I want to bring it to your attention. Mentioned in the first video to keep an eye on, and now is where I would say to, I guess, still keep an eye on, but add your alerts. Add your alerts under $3 US. There's a Toronto, I guess, TSX version of this. Why is it not showing? There is a TSX version, which is the Toronto Stock Exchange for my Canadians out there. So you can buy with Canadian dollar. So that way, you know, you don't have to pay the conversion fee or whatnot. But you know, at these levels, I would say it's relatively, relatively good. You could wait till it goes even lower. I actually saw it go lower, maybe intraday. I'm not too sure. Yeah, somewhere around like here. But yeah, add your alerts. Maybe keep an eye out on it for maybe $4 if you're too greedy. If you just want to get in a small entry, it doesn't hurt, then somewhere in between. All right, okay. All right. Nike. So this stock has been beaten down for a while. I think I mentioned in one of my videos that Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, has been buying. Some other whales have been buying, and I think it's been hovering around 40 for quite a while now. It's been giving people a lot of time to accumulate, and it's at levels of support. So if you were to purchase around 40, that would actually be a good trade, because this is something you're going to put in your long-term portfolio. Okay, you're not going to touch this, you're just going to buy it. Has a little bit of a little dividend, and you're just going to collect that and put it back in, I guess. Because this stock, it's Nike, it's global. It's not going away, guys. Okay, this stock is gonna be around, regardless of the tariff scares and this and that. It's just fear in the market. They're still signing deals, contracts. Numbers are looking better. New CEO has yet to come in effect. They just got a new CEO, but the CEO can't actually do anything until December or the next year. So it would be a good time to start loading up, because I think the new CEO is going to essentially, I don't want to say flip it around completely, but you're going to notice some value from this coming back. Okay. Moving on, CHWY, mentioned this before. Around $18 was a good price. Then it hit 17, then 16, and I thought, or not 16, 17, yeah, somewhere around these. I think it went intraday to 17 or something, but it won't show on this chart here. But yeah, so that would have been a great entry. I never ended up making the move because I was hoping for 16, but technicals wise, because it hit 16 here before, so I'm like, retest 16. I would be ecstatic to buy it at 16. Doesn't always have to make that move, right? You can always enter slowly. You don't have to lump sum everything. But these were good levels, so below 20, if you bought in, you're gonna be happy with this long term. I do think it's gonna hit up to 27s, 30s at some point, not too far in the future, and you'll make it small chunk of change there, some decent money there. Poet. Okay, we got a lot to go through, so I'm gonna wrap this up fast because we're approaching 25 minutes, approaching 30 minutes, so I don't want to keep it too long. Poet, decent levels, it makes it makes a good product. It's going to be useful for the future for AI and whatnot. So same with Path, but this is a little bit of um, a different type of stock. I'm not gonna go. There's so much to talk about every stock. I could go on and on, but let's just. Oh, there was my OKLO. Okay, let's just move on here. I think that was my old video. Did I mention BlackBerry or not yet? No. Okay, last time I spoke about it, it was at these levels, and then it kind of did a small retracement, and then it shot back up to these highs of 12. We're looking at US dollars, by the way. If it helps, we can look at the Canadian stock. BBTO. Yeah, it helps me because I have this in TSX. So yeah, hit these levels, and I was like, wow, this is crazy gains. Because if you bought at these levels and then shot up to 16, that's insane. You're getting almost what, almost 5x. Like you know, easy 4x. But if I think with this retracement, it does retrace a bit, and then I think it'll shoot back up to 20, and I think it caps 22 before seeing another retracement. So that's my personal opinion. Do what you will with that. Moving on, Trade Desk. This is a 2x ETF. So TTD is the actual stock. Um, you know, this stock. This is like an advertising stock, advertising agency, basically. With the World Cup and everything, there was a lot of speculation this will do well, but we haven't seen. I want to say we haven't seen that yet. Still relatively early. I think that it will do better in the future. Right now, it's might just like struggle here, and we don't know for how long it might struggle here. But regardless, if you are just for the long term, wanna load up, if you feel like keep an eye out on it, but could be something to watch or add if it goes below certain levels, like 19. If it goes with like maybe 17, that would be more value, and you'd find a lot more support at those levels. Okay, so and then you can be more aggressive on those levels. But right now, we're just watching it. We're not doing anything. Um, just keeping an eye out on this one. And like I said, I wouldn't say it's expensive. Expensive. Obviously, it's only $20, but this is way cheaper. And like I said, if you anticipate a move in the short term, you see some catalysts, you want to take a swing at this. Yeah, loading it up on like these like $2.50 ranges, if whenever it touches that, wouldn't be a bad thing. If it shoots up like even a dollar or two, then you're making quite the swing. So you kind of targeting these little swings on these ones. Okay, we're not holding long terms on these 2x's. Okay, path decay, guys, path decay. All right, moving on. Let's see, almost done. Uh, have we hit 30 minutes? Not yet. 1 minute. Okay. CONL. This is a Coinbase ETF. Sorry for that. Getting a phone call. Coinbase ETF. 2x. I do think the crypto cycle will kind of reset. Stock. Sometime October, and we're gonna see a lot of movement. Right now, kind of at these support levels, so keep an eye out on it. But the reason I mentioned CONL is it's the 2x version of Coinbase, a lot cheaper again. Not a long-term stock, okay? So kind of providing you guys last but not least everything, but last but not least, CRWV. Okay, this stock is a great stock. There's been some hesitancy with this because Meta might kind of take over the cloud part of this and whatnot, but it's at great levels. I know a lot of companies use this. service, and if it hits 80, honestly, I'm buying. Okay, like it's 80 something, you know, it's a good level. You know, I maybe okay wait for like 75 again. I kind of being a little, you know, aggressive, but I want to wait, I guess, till it goes to 70, 75 or something, and I think there will be a lot of value in the stock. This is going to be a long-term hold, and it's a stock that you do want to own in the long term. Because maybe this meta thing, you know, it's just headlines, right? It's just kind of a way to lower the stock. Whales buy in, and then boom, shoots up. Okay, honestly, there's kind of more stocks I do want to talk about, but we can't. This video will be too long, and I already passed 30 minutes. But anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging in there to the end. We're gonna watch SPY. SPY is basically the S&P 500 in a nutshell, basically. We're gonna watch SPY, see how overall market acts. We're kind of in this up and down move right now, with all the stuff going on in Iran and whatnot. But that's kind of why we're watching oil as well. Not being super aggressive, identifying value stocks, buying at support, selling at resistance, and you know, build a portfolio that you're gonna be happy with, satisfied with in the long term. Okay, you're gonna look at it several years from now. You're gonna be happy with the stocks you purchased, the names, this whatever, the conviction you have to have with these stocks. Okay, and yeah, I know we didn't talk too much about the big dog stocks, the I guess Mag Sevens, Fang. There's a Hynix, SK Hynix new IPO came out, basically Samsung competitor or whatnot with chips in Korea, I guess, or Hong Kong, I think Korea. And yeah, SpaceX. Uh, I think I mentioned in one of my videos that when it was at 200 that it could go higher and we could see it go higher. But that was not the case. In the short term, it actually went lower, and I think it's at all-time low since IPO. But you know, like I said, that would be a long-term hold. I obviously didn't buy into it, and I was warning not to buy it, but I was basically warning not to short it was my thing, because even if it goes down, even if you're shorting it, um, with volatility, and you might not actually make, or you could even lose money with shorts depending on how short term to expire it is, and timing, all that. But if you did purchase those long term puts, you would be up quite a bit. So if you've done that, congratulations. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Peace.